Would somebody tell this forest fire that it's way too fucking smoky and hot for this fat old bastard? Just let him know. Well, hey there, and welcome back for another Secondhand Opinions video. I'm Jason Alderman, the internet's favorite fat mouth, fat ass, bringing you fast stacks of fuck fact. And this morning I'm a little haggard. A couple days living in this smoke haze. I'm having a tough time getting my nose to want to work with me, and I was up till 2 o'clock in the morning talking with a buddy of mine about future plans and stuff, and shooting the shit. And so I'm pretty bushed and beat. The story's this going to be a little more simple video, just kind of talking about stuff I talked about last night with you. By the way, if you went and watched Terrence Pop's video, thank you for doing that. I appreciate you going and taking a look at that information. The interest isn't in scaring you guys. It's just to show you how close we are to a really bad situation. If we don't find a good avenue out of this, I don't see a way around what he's talking about there. What I wanted to talk to you about this morning was that I woke up this morning and I usually run through, check out comments and things, and touch back with you guys that have left things on my page, and check out videos from people that I like to watch. Tim Pool, Sticks, Hex and Hammer, Leto's Law, just a few things coming in the morning. And Tim says this morning that he thinks that Donald Trump's deputizing of the state police is having a grander effect on the arrest, etc. Now, again, we're hearing rumors that there's lots of arrests waiting in the wings. And probably the reason we're not seeing a lot of those arrests yet is because they want to track down all the things that any particular criminal did, anything that they can get them for, because they don't want to have to do it a second time. They don't want to have to face any double jeopardy bullshit. So they just want to get all the evidence, get it together, grab a person, take them in, lock them up. But he says that last night they had a dance party in Portland, and things were relatively rather placid at the precincts and federal building and stuff downtown. And I think that's a good thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying I don't think that this is the end of Antifa. We've seen Antifa riot and rage for months on end when Trump got elected, and then finally the story shifted, and whoever's controlling them told them all to fuck off, go recoup, rebuild, regather resources, re-recruit, and we'll get you back out there on the streets in a minute. But they had to let the heat die down. And you could tell it was a political space, because that was the goal motivation. They didn't let the heat die down to earn money, or let the heat die down so they could go bake bread. They all dispersed to the four winds, quote unquote, which is not true. They all dispersed to their homeless camps and, like Tim says, warehouse shelters and shit. But they're not gone. They're not quit. They didn't stop. They're not afraid. Some people in their ranks went, oh shit, we're getting arrested now. Well, I'm a puss, so I'll fuck off. And I'm not saying that to be disparaging. You should be a puss. You should get the fuck out. You should go fuck off. But it's not something they're willing to face. The cost of playing the game got too high when people started getting arrested. So I'm sure they saw a loss in numbers of foot soldiers on the ground. But the people who are manipulating this, controlling this, organizing this, funding this, perpetuating this, they didn't stop. Just because they might have lost a few foot soldiers doesn't mean that their agenda is over. It doesn't mean that they've conceded the war. And this is obviously an insurrection and a war against us. Let's be real. It's, if you went and watched Terrence Pop, it's got all of the defining dynamics, resources, etc. that make a functioning mobile army. So why would they quit? They haven't achieved their goals, and they haven't been slaughtered outright. They haven't waved a white flag. So just because they went away for a minute does not mean they stopped, does not mean they conceded, does not mean they lost. It just means that they're going to go away so that you don't notice anymore, and we'll all talk about Nancy Pelosi's fucking hair, And then in a couple of weeks, they'll be right back at it. They're going to go, like I said, rebuild, recoup, gather resources, re-recruit, formulate an extra, a layer to a plan or three. And they're going to be right back at it. Now, I expect you guys should understand that if their foot soldiers and useless idiots are out there willing to kill and commit murders, there's a lot of them didn't go anywhere. They didn't stop. They didn't leave. They're willing to fight and die for their cause, literally. They may not want to die in the immediate, but somewhere they've decided that is either not going to happen, which is unrealistic, or they've decided that they're okay with it, which is insane. They're not going anywhere, guys. Antifa, the BLM, the rioters, whatever you want to label them, the insurrection isn't going anywhere. Just because they take a break doesn't mean the war is over. You think Vietnam didn't have quiet nights? You think World War II didn't have quiet nights? Some nights when everybody was just like, you know what, fuck this shit, it's raining, it's nasty, it's damn near Christmas. I'm just going to sit in this freaking hole in the dirt and eat this goddamn crap bag of food and talk to this guy, and I ain't going to war today. That doesn't mean the war is over. Doesn't mean the military left. Doesn't mean they disarmed, surrendered. Doesn't mean the generals quit. It's just a quiet night on the front lines, man. I don't think they went anywhere. I think they may disperse, try going out to smaller neighborhoods again, go hit the suburbs, go hit smaller towns. They tried sending the satellite down here to Springfield, which is a town just across the river from Eugene. For all intents and purposes, Eugene, Springfield, and Glenwood could all be the same space until maybe 10 years ago. Glenwood was its own town with no police. It was operated by the sheriffs as far as police security goes. It was literally, you drive through Eugene from west to east, and once you get past the college here in town, you're pretty much about to hit Glenwood. And once you go into Glenwood, you go over a bridge, you're into Springfield. It's really that. There's no real distinction between the three towns. So Thurston is the far end, is the east side out by where the fires are. In fact, where the fires evacuations happened up to Thurston Road, which is about 70th and Main Street out there. So they sent satellite down here. They just got rebuffed by the police. They tried to make it look bad, but people here in town are either for it or against it. And so the hippies were all up in a rage, and Antifa was all up in a rage. But everybody else, and you'd be surprised how many conservatives there are here in Eugene. I was. Everybody else pretty much said, no, fuck that shit, get them the hell out of here. The cops said, we ain't going to deal with it. We got too much to deal with. This mayor's stepson going and being a nasty fucker. So, yeah, I think they got no time for that shit. We may be very progressive out here, but until recently, we were also very country in some parts of the state. So I don't think Antifa went anywhere. I don't think that they're quit. I think that the foot soldiers are either stupid, insane, or motivated by lies and propaganda, just like any army. I mean, I hate to say it's not trying to be rude, but you have to motivate your soldiers, and these soldiers are motivated. The people, like Tim said, there's Democrat, actual, politician people and representatives and stuff, people who are involved in the government structure, now out there getting caught for rioting too. The more we see that, the less we'll likely see aggression from Antifa. The more we see the high dollar people like Lowy Malkovich and Clara Kraber get busted, yes, they can afford to do the thing, but their family doesn't want to look like shit. They don't want to spend the money on your stupid ass. And now this is on your record. You just fucked up some of your future plans we had for you. So, we're seeing politicians, we're seeing rich kids, we're seeing lawyers and stuff out there playing around with Antifa. A lot of people are going to be getting in a lot of trouble. But until that really starts happening in a public view, there's just going to be rumored whispers on the high end of authority in Antifa that they have to be more careful and create extra steps of separation between themselves and the foot soldiers. So am I glad there was just a dance-off in Portland last night and no real riot to speak of? Yes, very glad. I don't want to see people hurt and die. That's just dumb. It's just plain stupid from every angle. From our angle, you crazy psychos are out there fucking shit up and murdering people. That's pretty stupid. You're not going to get the things you say that you want because you don't really want them. You just want to fuck shit up, murder, and be stupid. From their end, they're not going to get what they want because it's unreasonable. It's not going to happen. I don't see this going away. And I don't see the motivations behind the people funding this and organizing this going away. It's insurrection, whether it is for the usurpation of control and authority in the country, which is in part probably likely, or whether it is to further some sort of goal in the what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe debasement of the country. That's a good word. Whether their interest is in knocking us down a few pegs or handing us over to a foreign entity or selling us out to some other situation or I don't know so much as I think that they're just trying to stay a lot on top of where they get all the money and power. It's a bucket full of crabs all scrabbling to get to the top like they're trying to escape, but they're not trying to escape. And they're just happy being pulled back in because the longer they're in there, the longer they're lobbying and earning money that people donate, and then they pocket and filter the money. I mean, Bernie Sanders pretty much was told by the numbers, you cannot win and you will not be nominated. He still ran for another month. You know why? Because at the deadline when he quits, at a certain back time, he has to refund or disperse the earnings through his campaign. But behind that timeline, he gets to pocket that money. So I don't think Bernie Sanders ever actually wanted to be president. I think if he won, he would have been happy. But I think his real motivation is in just running. He made $1 million or more just losing the run. He stayed in it longer than he should have to keep a lot of that money. You think that's the only game in Washington? They write a shitty book, put it on someone's desk. They write New York Times bestseller on the cover, hand them $20,000, and the book doesn't do anything. It just fucking sits there. No one wants to read it, really. But they need the payout, so it's a way to launder money. I don't think these people really want to be politicians or do the job of politicians. They just want access to the authority, the power, the wealth. Since that's their motivation, and I believe it's a top-down organization, we haven't seen the end of their foot soldiers. Antifa's going nowhere, guys, until we make them. Let's all pretend like our opinions matter and leave them in the comments below. And remember, this is social media, so do all the things.